في هذا الصدد. شكرا.
What's your reaction to the airstrikes against the Houthis overnight?
Say again?
What's your reaction to the airstrikes against the Houthis overnight?
Well, we think this. Our reaction was that we have warned that this would be escalating in the region and beyond. And unfortunately, states have chosen to escalate rather than hold Israel accountable and end its atrocity at the Palestinian people.
Minister, can we ask you the same question? Your reaction to the airstrikes on the Houthis overnight?
Thank you. I think Ammar has said it. I think we always believe that the use of force is never wise, and we hope that all states would act in a way that will de-escalate tensions in the region. The last thing we need now is a regional conflict.
What about the fact that there is no dispute between South Africa and Israel, and they were trying to communicate with South Africa before this whole case was?
I think we will let the judges decide about whether we have concretized the dispute. We feel that we have concretized the dispute, that the fact that there is a dispute when we have said it in so many forums that this is a genocide, and they have said it's not, and we've also followed all the diplomatic channels. I think the minister has touched on that in his statement.
Did they try to reach out? Do you know?
We followed the normal diplomatic channels.
Minister, Israel says that if a ceasefire is ordered, it will have to abide by that and be unable to protect itself from attacks by Hamas. Hamas has said will continue. Isn't that true?
No, it is not true, because as I stated earlier on, we have condemned the actions of Hamas, and that they must also desist from any form of civilian attack. And we have also stated that should also be investigated by the relevant authorities and the UN bodies. But we do believe very strongly, and it's not just South Africa. On the 10th of January, the Director General of the World Health Organization stated that WHO has cancelled about 6 planned missions to the northern Gaza since the 26th of December. And there have been many organs of the UN that have stated the same, that they cannot provide humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza. The only way to do so is for a permanent ceasefire in the area.
And do you feel optimistic after this morning's hearing by Israel, or worried by it?
We remain confident that we have presented a compelling case, forensically detailed by our lawyers, and the state of Israel has dismally failed today, except to say that certain words were rhetoric and certain actions can be minimized by the fact that they've allowed humanitarian aid. We all know there was no such. The organs of the UN have stated as such, and it's not South Africa saying this. No, anyone. The UN says they can't provide humanitarian aid because of the ongoing bombing. So we remain confident that the court has a compelling effect from South Africa, and the law is on our side. The jurisprudence of the court has been very clear with regards to there cannot be any justification for genocide.
Mr. Minister, does Hamas is a terrorist organization in your point of view?
What have you said?
Hamas is a terrorist organization.
Oh, okay.
South Africa, like many other countries in the south, has not declared Hamas as a terrorist organization. That does not mean we condone what Hamas has done. The fact that other jurisdictions have declared them a terrorist organization does not mean that we should do the same. You see that Hamas is active in places like Qatar and Turkey formally. In South Africa, they are not active. They don't have any bases there, which has been claimed as well. We engage with all Palestinian stakeholders. We have the colleagues here from the Palestinian state. We've got Mr. Ammar Hijazi, who's the Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs in Palestine, and I don't know if you'd like to comment on that as well, but from our perspective, I've just given you that perspective. Yeah?
Just a question about the journalists. You know that Israel killed more than 112 Palestinian journalists, and those not militants, absolutely, and some of them lost even full of their families and homes and something like. Israel's delegation today did not mention for this. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean it's the disingenuousness of their legal team for selectively saying that we did not mention certain things which we have mentioned, including the condemnation of the 7th of October. They deliberately did not mention the fact that your colleagues have been killed in combat, Not only them, a civilian population, kids are not going to school for the past 3 months, the United Nations personnel, all that cannot be justified as an act of defense. It cannot be justified under any circumstances, in any prevailing circumstances. So we believe that we have indeed presented a compelling case to the court, and the court will indeed, in due course, be able to intervene for the people of Palestine.
Mr. Minister, what do you talk
in terms of support?
Mr. Minister,
Have
Hamas
you
will hold many
any
hostages.
other-
Just a second, Mr.
Can we
Minister.
allow
Why?
SABC?
Hamas still
No,
Can we take SABC?
I'm talking. Minister, have you received any support, particularly in the Middle East? There's a concern that the countries in the Gulf region, DG, are not really supporting this. And this was expected that the Middle East countries will be first to bring this kind of a matter here at the Hague.
Well, the Organization of Islamic States have all endorsed what South Africa has done in terms of bringing this to the ICJ. The Arab League 2 days ago has also endorsed what South Africa has done. We know that Jordan is thinking of supporting more than just providing a statement of support. And in addition, we've got 14 other countries from across the other regions of the world that have also endorsed South Africa, from Malaysia, from Turkey, Indonesia, Brazil, and we've got a long list that we can share with you on that.
I have a question. We know that many hostages. Do you think that
South
Mr.
Africa,
Minister,
Israel supports
Mr. Minister, Hamas still hold many hostages. Do you think that they respect to the international law as well?
No, I think they must. They must stick to international law. Holding of any civilian hostages is not part of any system. And you have heard us yesterday. We were very clear that our case is not against the Jewish people, the residents and the civilian population of Israel. Our case is against the actions of the state of Israel, the military, which is targeting the civilian population in Gaza of the Palestinian people. Same goes with Hamas. They must respect international law. They must operate within that. So that is why it's important that
Hamas let the hostages free?
yes, they must release them.
Yes, my question is, we know like the rest of South Africa during the apartheid regime, Israel was one of the countries who supported the apartheid regime. What is the importance today after the South Africa liberated from the apartheid to support the Palestinians here in this court? What's your message to the world?
Yeah, this is not revenge from South Africa. This is not revenge from South Africa against Israel. We are standing on a principle that any apartheid state anywhere in the world has been declared as a crime against humanity. So it will never be allowed to happen anywhere, and that is a UN convention. So we are here to protect the rights of the people of Palestine in Gaza. So it has got nothing to do with our revenge to the people of Israel. And as I've said yesterday, the one of the first treaties our founding president has signed was the Genocide Convention, because we acceded to it in 1998, shortly after our democracy. But we are here to assert the rights of the Palestinian people and also to assert international rule-based law.
Thank you. That concludes our press conference.
Thank you. There you have it, the end of these proceedings with Israel today, presenting its case, arguing that it is all about defending Israel. They also pointed out the fact that they have been cooperating with the international community in relation with putting together those humanitarian aid and also agreeing to humanitarian corridors. An issue that has been disputed just now by the minister. As you know, that the World Health Organization has been issuing statements around how difficult it is to deliver medical supplies, and also the Secretary General of the United Nations saying that it is very difficult to deliver aid or supplies to Gaza and ordinary people suffering. As you remember well, yesterday South Africa did put on the screen the challenges when those trucks are arriving in Gaza, the dire situation in Gaza. And with that, it's back to you in studio. Outside here, there are protests. Palestine, people from different countries are really screaming and shouting, free, free Palestine. On the other hand, few meters from where you have supporters of Palestine, you have families and friends of those who were killed on the 7th of October also demonstrating. We spoke to some of them. Back to you in studio.